This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
This is Resource Center on Enterprise, and I'm Lim Soon Heng. In the past 4 weeks, we've had Dr. Raymond Madden, CEO of Asian Institute of Finance, come talk to us about issues related to managing the human resources in organizations. Dr. Madden was Professor of Management Practice and Dean of London Metropolitan Business School. AIF is where he works. AIF has a mandate, and the mandate is, I quote, augment human capital development in the financial services industry. AIF is set up by Bank Negara. So he's the right man to talk to about human resources.
I hope so.
Dr. Madden, come January 1st, 2014, just around the corner, we will have new definitions for SMEs in this country. In the manufacturing sector, sales turnover not exceeding 50 million ringgit or numbers of employees not exceeding 200. For the services sector, sales turnover not exceeding 20 million ringgit or full-time employees not exceeding 75. But I also understand for the most part, SMEs or small companies tend to be about like 5 people.
Well, I think if you add up all the companies and the number of people working in them, you probably come to a figure like 5 or 6. But I mean, obviously they range from being small, 5 or 6, up to 50 and a few hundred. I think what typifies them is their approach to business. And actually the majority of businesses here in this country, Malaysia, are SMEs, characterized as that. And I think it's important that, and it's quite right that we're ending the series on this very, very issue, because this is a key issue. It's the driver behind how we move from a middle income economy, as we are at the moment, everyone earning less than 10,000 US dollars, to a much higher level of income. And that will come from SMEs as well as large companies.
What are some of the challenges inherent with being small?
The good thing is you have a lot of influence. You know exactly what's going on. You have a good handle on the scope and scale. The challenge is, how do you bring new people in? I mean, if you've only got 10 people and actually you bring in another 2 new ones because your business is growing.
Grown 20% already.
You've grown 20% already. And how do you bring those guys in? And you probably have brought them in a bit late, because people always hire when they're on the up. What people should be doing is looking generally at the market and seeing where they want to be in a year or two's time.
So the challenge of an SME is it finding people to join you from the context of timing your hiring?
Well, most SMEs spend all their time thinking about the business. The business now, the business today, the business next month. The question is, as the business changes, how do you respond to that? And as you grow, you will need more people. So where do they come from?
When you say that they think about the business today, business tomorrow, and all that, are you saying that they are busy doing the business as opposed to like planning in a way that will help them grow?
I think that can be a real challenge for SMEs, because there's not many people, and you don't have a planning department or a strategy department that sits there thinking, where is this business going to be in 3 to 5 years' time? So the founder or the top team need to sit down every so often and think about where we're going and what do we need to do. So new markets is normally how they grow their business. We're moving into a new element of the market. We've got a new product that we've varied. We're moving into a new geography. So that creates the sort of new opportunities that they then in a sense start to respond to.
So beyond this idea of like planning your growth and having the right talent come in, what are the other challenges inherent in being small?
Well, scale. I mean, it's an issue down to scale. So do you have people with the broad skill sets? Who's doing business development? I mean, that shouldn't just be 1 or 2 people. It should, in theory, really be everybody. And also, what happens if you're moving into a new market and you don't have someone inside who can help you? You're moving into Thailand. No one speaks Thai. We know that doing business in the language of the local language is really key. So then you've got to partner with somebody else. You've got to build up the trust relationship. And that's how you'll grow your business in that sense.
How have companies in the past dealt with this issue?
Well, these issues have always been around. But the issue now is there are a lot more companies. The internet has been a great leveler. You can set up a company in your bedroom tomorrow, a distinctive proposition in the marketplace, and you've got an international, if not global, reach. So the question is, how do you respond to that? In the old days, you were making things in one location, you were transporting them to another, and that was it. The biggest challenge was probably the trucks and the
logistics.
And the logistics, absolutely. But now it's much more service orientated, because we make more money from value-added services than from just making widgets, as we call it. So just little tangible things.
with those companies in the past, as long as they solve the logistics issues, they can deliver the products. But because we are in a service sector, we need to have that face-to-face communication. We need to be interacting, and that poses new challenges.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things, if you look at what SMEs do well, they're always good at looking at the cash flow, because otherwise they'd go out of business. They're good at delivering on time, because their customers would be unhappy if not. But what they're not necessarily good at is looking at the landscape and the social networking. What will take their business to the next level?
But always I keep hearing folks say that SMEs, because you're small, you are nimble and you can be highly adaptable. What you're saying to me seems to run contrary to that, simply because that, you may want to adapt and change, but you might not have the human resources or the talent necessary to move into the area.
I mean, I think what SMEs have got are people who are multitasking, multifaceted, and therefore broad in their skill set.
In Malaysia, we say that one leg kick. Have you heard that expression?
I haven't heard that one, but that sounds just
basically,
perfect.
Yeah, basically just one leg and you kick everything that's in front of you.
And it works. But when it comes to a new element of the market or a new geography, you will need skill sets you probably don't have. Otherwise, you would be there already. So the question is then, how do you bring those sort of skills in?
From that perspective, SMEs need a lot of information. They need a lot of help. What's the solution?
Well, I think there's a number of agencies outside there. This is both an issue for the nation and also will help us move into being a fully developed nation by 2020. So interestingly enough, the answer is in the name. SME Corp Malaysia looks after SMEs in Malaysia. So everything from business planning, the infrastructure, the financing, the advisory services, the marketing, they can help with that sort of thing. So there are agencies out there that can really give you the support. There are banks that are set up to look after SMEs. SME Bank, Exim Bank. So those are out there to look at how they might finance things. And I think those are important avenues so that you can go to people to sound out some advice.
Okay, we'll talk about how to tap into those resources that are already in existence. Dr. Raymond Madden from the Asian Institute of Finance. We're talking about SME communities, that SMEs need a network to help them succeed. Coming up, we'll talk about these networks and how to tap into them. This is Resource Center on Enterprise, BFM 89.9, the business station. You're listening to Resource Center on Enterprise, and I'm Lim Soon Heng speaking with Dr. Raymond Madden from the Asian Institute of Finance. We're talking about building SME communities. SMEs being by nature small, they don't always have the resources to get the kinds of answers they need. They sometimes don't even have the time to plan what they need to do. But there are resources out there. And Dr. Madden, you've already mentioned like SME Corp. Yeah? What other organizations beside SME Corp are there?
Well, if you just look at sort of networks of individuals who come together, so chambers of commerce, for example, those are very effective at going into particular market avenues or to take a particular direction. So, for example, they might run an event on franchising. What would that mean if you wanted a franchise, if you were a franchisee, and how you might negotiate with your owner? So those are real tangible things that actually are thematic and maybe go across the different industry sectors.
It's kind of like a fraternity for different organizations, for like businesses that are perhaps in manufacturing. You have a manufacturing fraternity. If you're specific into glassware, that's glass fraternity. I guess a lot of, I don't know whether it's true or not, whether people join or they don't join simply because, look, I'm too busy doing my work that I don't have time to attend these meetings.
Well, that's right. I think you've got to be selective. But I mean, the lumberjack who never sharpens his axe is never going to carry on chopping down trees. So sometimes you have to stop, take stock. And actually, if you're looking at franchising or something that's tangible, then you would go into that. But then you don't always need to stop. I mean, there's other networks that exist on the internet. For example, LinkedIn, is very strong at powerful at bringing people who are very specifically focused together on a particular issue. And some of those may be in your geography, some of them may not. But actually, that network is really effective at getting free access to information, of finding a like-minded person who's running a similar business to you somewhere else.
You're talking about using the internet. Of course, the internet also have all these various forums that you can participate in, and you can pose a question and get answers from the people in the forum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do it in human capital. I've done it in learning and development. How might I do a learning and development program or something like that in a jurisdiction that, doesn't have electricity? What do you do in those situations?
I guess if I were a businessman, something might also be kind of gnawing at me, saying that, if I participate in these kinds of organizations, then there must be some sharing of information. Am I not also creating competitors?
Well, I think you've got to be savvy about this. I mean, you don't go there with your best, brightest new idea, tell 400 other people and tell them that, I'm sure this is really going to take off. And then everyone will say, yeah, thank you very much. And some of them might go away and get access to the market. So I think you've got to be trusting, but you've also got to be savvy enough. And business people normally are. Everyone knows there's a deal to be done and you're there to get benefit as well as give advice. And I think that what you find is like-minded people who can help you do that. And potentially future joint venture partners. So that's the other advantage. You can grow your business by finding someone who's similar, doing something in a different jurisdiction, different section of the market. I mean, look at servicing. Services, or the services industry, grows across sector. So you might have done lots of work in IT or manufacturing. Wouldn't it be great to go into finance or agriculture or some other section? And that's where someone can help you.
The network allows you to have conversations, and it's the conversations that allow you to have new ideas sparking in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this might be an avenue for innovation also.
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that as a nation we need to focus on is innovation. That will take us to the next step. And I think, however good our SME sector is, we've really got to start innovating. We've really got to come up with the new ideas. This is not about making something else that someone else has made. This is about creating the new tomorrow, the future.
There are networks that already exist. Do you see a need for an individual going out there to create his own new network?
Well, individuals have to do that. But I think what's important is there's something else I just want to mention, and that's Malaysia SME. And that's actually a media organization that looks at the whole of the industry, that collects data, and that says these are the trends that are going on in the industry, and they collect data. So in their last data set, they do it every sort of quarter or so. 650,000 people responded. SMEs, I should say, rather than people. That gives you a data set that tells you where things are trending, where things are going in the future. What's hot? Now, it's short term, it's not hugely data intensive, but at least it gives you an inkling of where the market's going. And we've seen huge volatility in the market. The rise of China, the global financial crisis. If someone can sort of say things that are happening in the market that might impact you, that could be really helpful.
Guess what? I'm planning to have a series of discussions with SME Corp.
Hey, there you are.
Now with Malaysia, we have the SME Corp. What's happening regionally that SMEs could tap into?
Well, not surprisingly, ASEAN actually have produced a policy blueprint for SMEs. And that's looking at actually the 10 years from 2004 to 2014. So a lot of work will have been done. They will have analyzed particular markets. And I think that's really interesting for people who want to go into a new market.
So this is about the trends that are
Absolutely.
happening.
And it outlines a framework, the development gaps, which actually then creates new business opportunities. And of course, from 2015, with the ASEAN Economic Community, that's a real opportunity. I mean, I'm obviously from Europe. When I look at the way the European Union has developed, a lot of it has been around SMEs moving from a particular jurisdiction into another one. Great opportunity.
So it looks like the world is an SME's oyster.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, it would be another series to talk about the challenges of multinationals. SMEs is where it's at.
Dr. Raymond Madden, CEO of the Asian Institute of Finance. Thank you so very much for being with us this past 5 weeks and sharing with us how organizations can better develop their human capital, improve leadership, support and develop its talent with coaching and mentoring, plan for succession, build SME communities to help organizations succeed and thrive. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. It's been a wonderful journey.